I do, I'm sorry, thank you. Thank you very much, I appreciate that.
Let's hoping you knew. No. Everybody ready? Kyle, you ready? All right, apologize for the late start, but we're gonna call this meeting to order. Apologize, we're having some technical difficulties with our live stream, so we're set up to record and we'll get this posted at some point, I'm sure. So anyway, at this time, we'll call the meeting to order. Let the record show that all members, with the exception of Mrs. Browning, are present. And at this time, if y'all would stand and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, everyone has been provided with a copy of the minutes from our last 3 meetings. Does anybody have any additions or corrections? If not, we'll let the meeting stand as presented. Mr. Hedrick, do you have claims to present?
Yes, would you please approve all claims and payroll as submitted?
All right, I have a motion from Mr. Hedrick, a second from Mr. Omer. Anyone have any questions on the claims? If not, all in favor of approval, raise your right hand. 6-0. All right, we don't have any donations, so we'll move into our information report time.
Okay, for the information report, we have our project manager, Mike Camp with Hagerman, who's gonna provide an update.
Okay, good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the board and members of the public. My name is Mike Holcamp. I'm with Hagerman Construction, and we're working on the Progressive Design Build project in the Step 1 services. I provide the board with a project executive report. I'll just highlight a few things. So the past 30 days, we've continued to learn about each of the buildings. We've conducted a program study. We have did a code consultant study. We've developed a Revit model for the projects. And we're working on developing your priorities and estimates for those. We have landmark surveying, working on site survey work. Alton Widzig, we have hired them to do soil borings, and they conducted a multi-channel analysis of surface waves, and they determined we have a Class C certification category, so that's good. We were worried we were going to be in the D category, but we moved up to the C, so that's good. We're continuing to have design meetings every 2 weeks. Some current activities, we were scanning in the buildings today with some Matterport. The survey company continues. MicroAir, I brought those guys on to do some material survey work of the buildings, of the existing buildings. And Alton Widzig is scheduled to do soil borings hopefully next week. They're just trying to miss the raindrops. Next 30 days, the important things that we want to continue to advance our design and update our cost models and estimates for you, continue to gain knowledge of existing conditions, finish our scanning, and we just want to learn about adjacent land to the school and options we might have, and continue to refine the design, complete the survey work, and be at a schematic design level so we can give you more information to make informed decisions. So that was probably a lot. Does anybody have any questions?
What's a Revit design model?
A Revit design model. In the old days, they hand drew projects, so now they basically do that 3-dimensional, and so they had to physically draw all of that to the dimensions of the buildings. So now they can basically take their computer and move it around and kind of design in front of your eyes, so to speak. So that's a fancy name, they call it the Revit model. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike.
Appreciate it.
Next, we're gonna have our facility manager, Graham Beasler, provide an update on facility projects and the cleaning of the school buildings this summer.
Good evening, glad everybody floated in tonight. Just want to provide you all with an update of the buildings and what we've accomplished over the summer. We've been working pretty extensively with a lot of contractors this summer with quite a few extensive projects and some bigger ticket items. I'll start at the high school. The primary project there this summer has been the chiller replacement. We've been a little behind schedule, just a lot of things have come up, weather-related issues, some other events at the high school. The new chiller is installed, it's mounted on the roof. The electrical is hooked up as of Monday, I think. Electric Plus wheeled out of there. All that remains yet is the programming and the piping to be finished back into the building. That's a little more extensive. They gotta take that back to the shop and fab everything up and then bring it on site and install. Most of you might see gate 2, the steps have been poured there, the old ones have been demoed. Today, I believe, if they were able to dodge the raindrops, they were trying to put in the handrails, and then the city is working on the sidewalks there in front of there as a part of the city sidewalk share program. The auditorium, the LED light conversions have taken place for all the lights that the contractors that he is easily able to access. He's gonna have to build some scaffolding above the seats to get to those lights, but the lights above the rows and upstairs are all changed out. It's really brightened the room up, looks really, really nice in there. The stairwells have now all finally been converted to LED lights too, so we're not having to constantly drag scaffolding out, change light bulbs. We're keeping those stairwells nice and bright for everyone that uses the Hatchet House and then the students throughout the day as well. Athletics added a little project this summer in the weight room. They're doing some renovations in there, I believe. They added epoxy to the stairs on the floor there and added mirrors in the weight room. That project's complete. We're trying to get in there and complete adding electrical outlets to the columns so that we can come in later and add some TVs there and have a more interactive weightlifting program. Move down to upper. The painting is complete at upper elementary, the hallways and the library area there. It's really changed that space. It's not the old checkered speckled walls anymore. It's a lighter gray color, looks really nice. That whole area has changed. The air conditioning in the gym is very behind schedule, I'll say. We kind of ran into some hiccups with the placement of the unit. It wasn't what we had expected, and they're going to have to repipe a gas line to be able to move the unit closer to the building to allow better egress for football spectators and things like that. Again, they're fighting the elements to get a crane in there to move the unit. Closer to the building is very difficult with the ground being so soft. So once things dry out a little bit, or we can get in and build them something stable to set up their boom truck on, we'll get that moving a little quicker. But the plan is to have that completed, or at least the indoor work all completed by the beginning of school, weather permitting. There will also be a fence to follow there to keep students and spectators away from that unit. Intermediate, the gym is being painted as well this summer. Once they finished at upper elementary, they moved right into the gym. There's a lot of prep work and cleaning that takes place to clean that gym. There's areas and nooks and crannies of that gym that are unable to be cleaned on a regular basis, so they've had their lift in there and vacuums and dusters cleaning everything before it's painted. They began painting, I think, last Friday, and I'd say they're about a quarter of the way done with the painting. so things are looking really nice in there. That gym also had LED lights upgraded in it. That space is totally brighter than it's ever been before, and that space is turning out to be really nice, and I'm excited to see how it looks once the paint is complete. A little project we had this summer too there, we split a room in half there and added a wall down in the Kiva section. I believe they're gonna put like a conference room, meeting room in there. So there were 3 doors down there and had 2 spaces, so Mr. Cherry thought it would be best to have a little extra room for remediation work and stuff like that to take place down there. So that wall's up, painted. The hope is it's a temporary wall, but it's a well-built wall and in place. It can last us a few extra years if we need. Not much going on at primary with the construction project going on. We're kind of sitting on our hands a little bit to see what's going to come to fruition with that before we get into many other ops-related projects. But we did have to replace a chiller compressor there this summer. That was done right at the end of school, and that building's operating pretty smoothly for the summer. Athletics, we've been trying to again battle the elements. It's been a wet summer and spring. We've done a really nice job there. We have added Bermuda grass to the practice field or the JV field through the community grant. It has taken hold extremely well with the wet weather and the humidity. It is off and running, and that field's going to be playable by the time they start practice. So everything's looking good there. We've added some extra sprigs to the game field that suffered a little bit of winter damage, but checking on them yesterday, they're taking off as well with this rain and hot weather. So everything's going to look good down there by the beginning of the school year and come soccer season. Baseball and softball are pretty well wrapped up. We've just got some brick dust and things like that to add, just to have everything prepared and put away for the winter and ready for next season. Our custodians have been hard at it this summer. We've been operating very short-handed. We are down 3 custodians as of right now. We have requisitions open for full-time and part-time positions. We're diligently searching. We are also searching for custodial supervisor. Angie Royal left us here at the beginning of the summer. She chose for an early retirement and moved closer to her in-laws. I don't know if I'd be on board with that, but more power to her. So we've got a requisition out there searching for her replacement as well. We've had a few applicants this week. We're gonna really get into the interview process here as school starts, and I don't wanna jump right into anyone. Angie was pretty invaluable and she wore many hats. We're looking for someone that can fill that same role and be that same person. So we're gonna take our time with that and find the right person. Our custodial staff's been focusing on floors this summer. We really wanted to spruce them up as much as we could. They're pretty well wrapped. We've got a couple more weeks of, fine touches to do, and most of the buildings are complete. We're searching for our Veal replacement to replace Kim Craney, who retired. So once the buildings are complete, if we need to move someone in-house down to Veal, we'll probably go that route. So I gotta give our custodial staff some kudos. A lot of people have stepped up this summer with all the absences, and they've done a great job, so hats off to them. But it's about all I've got for you guys. Got any questions, shoot them my way. If you'd like to see the buildings and get a little more detail, you know where to find me. So.
What's the time frame you think for finishing the auditorium? I imagine it's pretty slow going, moving all that stuff, isn't it?
It's slow going. I think he's got about 6 or 8 lights to do. He should be done before school starts. He does have a couple more lights to finish at intermediate, but up in the mezzanine where wrestling practices. So we told him, the auditorium's the priority. We have students in there every day. We need to have a staff meeting in there before school starts, things like that. So I think he'll be wrapped before school.
Was in there today, just with the lights that are in now, it's a major improvement over what we had. So, especially with students being in there during school, it's gonna be a major improvement for sure.
The upper AC gym, will it be functional by start of school?
Hoping so. Again, they've got a little work to do in moving the unit. Once it dries out and they can get on some solid ground there, behind the JV locker room to get their boom truck in there, I think things will move right along, so.
Hate to even ask, but with the rain that we just had out here, Hatchet Hollow, everything.
It was wet, a lot of water on the field, water only, no mud. No water reached into the JV locker room, so things were fine there. Upper had a little water in the basement, a couple inches, nothing to really fret about. We're gonna let the water go down, get into the gutter on the side of the building and put fans on it in the morning, so then probably give it a good wash.
Your grass growth helps a lot with the mud problems we had last year, so.
I think that's it. So, but no, other than that, if you guys need anything, most of you have my number, and if not, I'm in the transportation building those days, so you can find me there.
Thanks, Randy.
Thanks, Grant, appreciate everything. Okay, this portion of the meeting is reserved if we have anyone that wants to make any patron statements regarding our agenda topics for the night. Do we have anyone signed up? No, all right. So we'll move ahead into the personnel section of the meeting. Looks like we don't have any retirements, but we do have some resignations.
Do have some resignations. Leslie Gray, elementary teacher. Megan Wright, elementary teacher. Ashley Memmering, elementary aide. Neely Graver, elementary aide.
Okay, I have a recommendation to approve these resignations. Do I have a motion for that from Mr. Hitter? A second from Mr. McCormick. Does anyone have any questions regarding the resignations? If not, all in favor? 6-0. No leaves to consider.
No leads.
So appointments.
Appointments. We have Cassidy Booth to be hired as a high school English teacher, Andrea Graves as a junior high EL teacher, Tanya Jordan as an elementary teacher, Lisa Ramsey, elementary aide, Brianna James as a bus attendant, and I just received a message from Principal Rhiannon Fry. I can add a recommendation for Donna Conrad for elementary teacher, if the board's okay with that late addition.
Absolutely.
Okay.
That's good news. Okay, so we have a recommendation to approve those appointments. Do I have a motion for that from Mr. Cornelius? Second from Mr. Miller. Does anyone have any questions regarding the appointments or any need to vote them separately? If not, we'll approve them in bulk. All in favor? 6-0. ECA appointments.
I'd like to recommend the following ECA appointments. Austin Moody as the high school head varsity baseball coach, Alex Boyd as a high school assistant boys basketball coach, Tyler Stoll as a high school boys basketball volunteer coach, and Brian Riggle as a junior high wrestling coach.
Okay, I have a recommendation to approve these ECA appointments. Do I have a motion for that from Mr. Miller, a second from Mr. Hedrick? Anyone have any questions on these hires? If not, all in favor of approval? 6-0. I'd say congratulations to Austin Moody as our new varsity baseball coach. Nice to see that progression from in-system. Okay, we don't have any other in personnel?
No.
Any old business to consider?
No old business.
All right, moving on to new business.
First item in new business, I'm recommending that the board approves the school resource officer MOU that we have with the city of Washington. This is the exact same MOU language that we've had in place with the city of Washington for us to have the one city policeman as an SRO. We have to reapprove it every year to stay compliant with our school safety grant that we received from state of Indiana to help cover the cost of the SRO.
Okay, and I assume Colin, will be continuing in that
Yes.
role as well? That's very good. Okay, so a recommendation to approve the, memorandum of understanding for the school resource officer. Do I have a motion for that from Mr. McCormick, a second from Mr. Omen? You wanna have any questions on that? If not, all in favor? 6-0, and we appreciate the city of Washington working with us on that. That's a big deal and a big help to our school system, working well with our city police officers.
Next item's an exciting one that's been in the works, really for the last year, and the history of our involvement with this really goes beyond even the last year. It's, the Microelectronics Academy MOU, and as you'll see on that document, we were invited a year ago to be a part of the initial discussions, ourselves, Lagodi Schools and Bloomfield, and we're working with ROI, which is an organization that works with education, economic development, just living in what they call the Uplands region. It's a 11-county region: Bloomington, Bedford, Jasper. We're the farthest west county here in Davies County. But with what's going on at Westgate, a lot of economic development, microelectronics is a big piece of what's going on up there. And when you think about national items, the United States is making a focus on trying to develop our ability as a country to develop microelectronics and not be dependent on foreign countries. And so what we've worked on, and Steve's been a big piece of this with the SCALE grant and getting a lot of our teachers trained in STEM instruction that helps feed the microelectronics pathway. This is going to be just an awesome opportunity for high school students to be part of what's going to be called a Microelectronics Academy that will be hosted at the Reliable Microsystems building up at Westgate. And our kids that participate in this will come out with certification to be a microelectronics technician and to work in what they call like the clean rooms with the microelectronics. And they can choose to basically go straight into work, or they could take that and go for a 4-year degree for like an engineering type of degree. But what the MOU spells out is the cost sharing. Ivy Tech is another partner. They're actually covering the heaviest load of the cost the first couple years of implementation, which helps the school districts. Just an interesting note, there's 13 kids signed up between Bloomfield, Lagodi, and Washington, and we have 6. So Washington Community Schools will have half of the class roster for the first year of the Microelectronics Academy, and I think this will be something that we'll see continue to grow over the next several years.
All right, this sounds very exciting, great development. So I do have a recommendation to approve the Microelectronics Academy MOU agreement. I have a motion for that, Mr. Cornelius, second from Mr. Omen. Anyone have any questions? If not, all in favor of approval? 6-0, and that is a 2-year agreement, so is that
I
right?
think so.
Policy updates.
This is a first reading of school board policy updates. We do subscribe to the organization called Neola, which helps to keep us compliant with local, state, and federal codes as they're updated. I provided the policies to everyone here earlier this week. I think there's like 40 different policies on this, ranging from little grammatical type of stuff to some phrasing to some other ones that are a little bit bigger changes. This month is the first reading, and then I would bring these back on the August agenda for final approval, and then we work with the Neola system to have everything officially updated to our school board policy, which is available to the public online.
Okay, so no action to be taken other than just the initial reading?
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll move on to the surplus items.
Surplus items, we have 3 risers at the primary that are taking up space, on the, stage area. They've not been used in years. Like permission to surplus them, so we'll take them to auction and be able to get some kind of monetary return for them.
All right, I have a recommendation to approve the surplusing of the risers at the primary. We have a motion for that, Mr. Miller, and a second from Mr. Hitter. Anybody any questions? Like the place where the risers go is probably not gonna even exist once
Right.
this project moves forward, so
Right.
it seems to make sense to move those on. All in favor of approval? 6-0. All right, permission to advertise the 2026 budget.
So a formality that, has to happen every year before we advertise the budget is to ask the board for permission to advertise the 2026 budget. So our business manager, Carrie Alford, is, leading on that. We'll have some meetings here in the coming weeks to finalize that, but we will get that advertised here before the August board meeting.
Okay. I have a recommendation to approve the advertisement of the 2026 budget. Do I have a motion for that? Mr. McCormick, second from Mr. Miller. Anybody have any questions on that? All in favor? 6-0.
Have a,
Would you have any?
I have a late item to add. It's a team overnight trip request of the high school volleyball team. They're gonna go to IU volleyball team camp. I'm gonna let Jason talk a little bit about the details, and just so that we can get that officially board approved. Jason will be attending the trip too as a coach and a board member, I guess. And we'll make sure all the official paperwork's turned in.
Yeah, Coach Madison and I are taking, basically the varsity volleyball team to, IU team camp tomorrow, Saturday and Sunday, so 3 days, 2 nights. Yep.
2 nights in an IU dorm pool.
It's been a long
It's not a
time.
better place to be. Indiana University, right?
All right, have a recommendation, I guess, does Mr. Elmer need to abstain from this, or since he's going, or is it okay?
No, he can
You can vote. All right, we'll let you vote. It's gonna be close if you did. All right, I have a recommendation to approve the volleyball team camp trip. Do I have a motion for that? Mr. Hedrick, second from Mr. McCormick. This does have to be approved because it's an overnight trip, otherwise, we wouldn't be discussing it. So all in favor of approval? 6-0. Any other?
Don't think we have anything else.
All right. Okay, at this time, we're into the portion of our meeting for patron statements regarding our non-agenda topics. I should have got that pulled up already. There it is. Okay, so at this time, we are opening up for public comment on our non-agenda items. I have a little script to read that kind of lays out the rules for how this goes. School patrons who wish to address the board may do so during this time. We will not discuss in open session any individual school student or school employee and/or descriptions of such people, which leave little doubt to the identity of these people. Patrons may express opinions or make statements regarding issues pertinent to the district. This is the time for the public to provide their comment and for the board to listen to you carefully. Patrons are welcome to schedule an appointment with Mr. Frank, Superintendent of Schools, and/or myself to further discuss any concerns expressed during public comment, but no response will be given during the public comment period. Per board policy, each patron comment is limited to 3 minutes, and public comments will be open for up to 30 minutes. So, when you come forward, if you would, state your name and address, and you'll have 3 minutes to state your comments. So we'll start with, Shelley McBride. If you wanna just come up.
I'm Shelley McBride. I live at 616 East Main Street in Washington. 5 years ago today, civil rights icon and Georgia Congressman John Lewis passed away. Shortly before his death, he visited the Edmund Pettus Bridge, where at the age of 25, he was stopped as he led peaceful marchers from Selma on their way to Montgomery, Alabama. For the offense of wanting equal access to the ballot box, he and others were tear gassed and beaten with nightsticks and bullwhips. John Lewis himself had his skull cracked. He was knocked to the ground. When he tried to get up, he was knocked down again. He was left unconscious, concussed. He later reported that he thought he would die on that bridge. In March 2020, marking the 55th anniversary of Bloody Sunday, from that same bridge, he delivered to us our final marching orders. Speak up, speak out, he said. Get in the way, get in good trouble, necessary trouble, and help redeem the soul of America. I've been working or living in Washington, Indiana since 2010. I grew up in the cornfields of Harrison County. When I was 25, I moved with my family, including my 3 young sons, to begin law school in Bloomington. After law school, I spent 10 years working as a Monroe County deputy prosecutor. Then I took a job as an attorney for the Department of Child Services here in Daviess County. About a year later, I bought a house and I opened my own practice here. And I've been doing that ever since August of 2011. You may wonder why I'm here talking to you. I didn't attend school here, nor did my children. Though I did attend 4 regional basketball competitions at the Hatchet House during my 4 years in high school in the 80s. One year we even got to cut down the nets. As a lifelong basketball fan, one of the first things I remember learning about Washington is that it is the hometown of Cody Zeller, and he went on to play for my very favorite college team. One of the other things that I learned about Washington was about the powerhouse. As a DCS attorney and later as a private attorney, I learned it was an after-school safe place for kids to go who maybe didn't have anyone at home waiting for them, who maybe didn't have extracurricular activities, who were too old for daycare but too young to be left at home between that time when school let out and parents got off of work. Trust me, as a mom of 3 boys who were all teenagers at the same time, I could have made use of a place like the powerhouse. I often came home from long days at the office to absolute mayhem. I was so impressed that this community had provided that service to so many. And for all these years, I've believed that the powerhouse was a great place. It is less than a block from my home. I see kids pour out of the school and make their way there every day during the school year, and it always makes me smile to see it. So back in late May, when the now well-known social media post made its way to me, I remember being so shocked I couldn't speak at first. Shock turned to sadness, which became anger, which morphed into action. With the help of my legal assistant and many others, with less than 2 weeks' notice, we put together a pride party on June 4th. I admit, I had some reservations. I wondered if my property would be vandalized. Would people I cared about, or my pets, or even I, experience aggressive behavior or violence? Would there be negative effects for my law practice? But if I was too scared to act, what about the children that were so negatively affected by the people behind that post? Who would protect them? I thought about John Lewis and his directive, get in good trouble, so I did. It was a huge success. Kids played, adults chatted, we grilled hot dogs and hamburgers, we had a photo booth with fun rainbow-themed props. I hung a huge pride flag on the side of my house, and that remains there today. I am so glad to have had the opportunity to find the people who agree that nobody should be treated as wrong for being who they are. And today I stand before you representing the newly formed Daviess County Equality Coalition. We've been hard at work, and we wanted to address the presence of the powerhouse in the school through 2 programs. We are aware that they feed meals to the football team in exchange for access to the team after the practices, and the Real Truth, or TRT, where the powerhouse is allowed access to students each week. It seems clear that the access includes permission for the powerhouse folks to teach the students their version of the gospel. We do not think that should continue, at least not without some serious vetting and supervision. I know that Mr. Cook has posted an apology concerning the offending post and has tried to walk it back. However, a search of his public social media activity shows that these are long-held beliefs. Here are just a few public posts from 2021 and 2022 on TC Cook's Facebook account. Men act like men. Being effeminate is a sin. There is no such thing as a gay Christian. Do not be deceived. Referencing an article about a transgender contestant winning a beauty pageant, Mr. Cook disparages the feminist movement and lays out his firm belief in the set roles for men and women. He concludes the post to say, "God is good, this is evil." He doesn't specify which part of the post is the evil part. In another long Facebook post, Mr. Cook criticizes schools for focusing on teaching kids employable skill sets and not teaching things like integrity, respect, honor, and discipline. He blames this development on the removal of God from school. I wonder if he's noticed the new Kids at Hope initiative in our school system here. There are more posts, many more. If you want to see them, our group can provide them. In the interest of time, I'm not going to read any more. If Mr. Cook is sorry about this recent post, and even if it was mistakenly posted, I don't believe it misrepresents his views. In fact, his views go even further than that post, and not in a good way. I'm happy to sit and talk with Mr. Cook and any or all of the Powerhouse board members. Many in my group are willing. We've reached out and continue to do so, but to no avail. I fully accept his right to think what he thinks, whatever it is. But he should not have unfettered access to students in taxpayer-funded schools on taxpayer-funded time. I understand that the student participation is voluntary, and I know one argument might be that the affected children, specifically LGBTQ students or girls, can choose to not go. I'm not sure I agree. I think school sponsorship of the program does insert a kind of coercive component. But even if it doesn't, what about the kids that do attend? In my practice, I handle several kinds of cases. Do you know what comes up when I deal with cases involving school-age kids over and over again? Bullying. I'm sure I don't need to tell any of you that bullying is a pervasive problem in schools, and I know that school staff work hard to tamp it down. Bullies aren't born. Bullies are taught. What do you think happens when a straight kid is told that his gay classmate is an abomination, that his transgender classmate is evil? And what do you think goes on in the not yet fully developed brain of a junior high or high school boy or football player when he is told that his girlfriend's God-ordained mission is to submit to him? When I was in school, nobody was openly gay. But today, I can count 4 openly gay or lesbian classmates from my graduating class. One of them was and is my very dear friend. It pains me to think that we did not have the language to talk about that then. Because you know what? Those 4 people, they were already gay then. I wonder, did I ever say anything that hurt them? That was ignorantly insensitive? And I can imagine how much worse it would have been If someone like Mr. Cook had been allowed into our school to tell me and our classmates that our queer peers were evil. Someone once asked me, "When did you choose to become heterosexual?" My answer was, I didn't. It's just who I am. So when my dear lesbian friends who I love like family, and my sweet, intelligent, transgender friend who is afraid to be out in his community, when they tell me that that's just who they are, I believe them. I respect them. I love them fiercely. And I'm here to protect them and the vulnerable children in that community, my community, our community. John Lewis spoke of the beloved community, capital B, capital C. It's more than just Washington, or Daviess County, or Indiana, or even America. It's all of humanity. We all deserve respect, dignity, opportunity, hope, dreams, love, and to just be who we are. And we should do all we can to make sure that happens. If not us, who? If not now, when? Thank you for the time to speak this evening.
Okay, thank you for speaking. I will ask of our next two speakers if you could keep it a little more brief. We need to keep moving, okay? Out of respect for your opinions, we want to keep the meeting moving. So at this time, we Audrey Broussard, am I saying that?
Good evening. As he said, my name is Audrey Broussard, and as Shelley spoke about our children, I kind of want to talk to you very briefly, I promise, about being a parent. Wrote notes. I thought I was going to be going to a football scrimmage, and so just bear with me. The most prominent quote from To Kill a Mockingbird by the dad in the story, Atticus Finch, is his advice to his very young adolescent daughter, Scout. She was 6 years old. You never really understand a person until you consider things from his point of view, or her, until you climb into his or her skin and walk around in it. I like to say shoes because skin's a little creepy, but nevertheless the same message, right? It's important. Like I said, the central message is empathy in the story. That's why it's one of my favorites. He taught his two young children in the story. Yes, I realize it's a made-up story, but it's definitely realistic. 10 and 6 years old. Put yourself in their shoes. Think about them for just a minute, not yourself, someone else. If a 10 and a 6-year-old could realistically do this, I think all adults can, or at least try. Maya Angelou also said that everyone possesses empathy, not everyone has the courage to show it. Let me ask you a question, just a few questions, like 2 questions and I'm out of here. If someone you deeply cared about, maybe one of your own children, came to you to confide in you that he or she was gay, how would that impact your relationship with them? Most people say, I don't know what I would do, or they know exactly what they would say. They speak on their beliefs and God and everything they were taught from birth on. I'm a cradle Catholic, or was born a Catholic. My dad's 74 years old. You know who he is? Either like him or hate him. But I know I've never met a man more set in his ways than my dad. And when my daughter went to him after she graduated high school, valedictorian of her WC class, and told him that she was gay, he said, you know what? I love you anyway. And to me, it's another example that if people, even children, can see this, adults can at least try. Basically, the last question I have for you, at what point does disapproval cross the line into discrimination? Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Very good. Okay, well, thank you all for coming. We appreciate your comments. All right. Now we move into our information items.
Information items, a couple of things I wanted to celebrate and highlight. First, with some of our athletic teams have achieved some academic recognition. Want to first speak to the Washington High School volleyball team, and they received the American Volleyball Coaches Association Team Academic Award for their team GPA this past school year. They were one of only 63 teams in the state of Indiana to earn the award. The entire team achieved a minimum team cumulative GPA of 3.3 on a 4.0 scale. So very proud of the volleyball team, and also might be some of the same girls helped our Washington High School girls basketball team achieve the Hoosier Basketball Coaches Association Academic Honors Corps Team Award for all of their overall GPAs. So, you know, we cheer for the Hatchets, and we love it when they win, and I'd say this is as big of a win as those teams achieved this last year, and super proud of them. And then this is fresh off the press, just got this one today. Our athletic director, Larry Cochran, is one of 10 ADs in the nation that has received from the National Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association the Bruce D. Whitehead Distinguished Service Award. So Larry will be recognized at the NIAAA conference in December in Tampa. I might head down to Tampa in December to be a part of that one, but
I'll announce it.
Okay. But I think all of you know, the work that Larry does, and we're so fortunate to have him to lead our athletic program, and the work that he does with the coaches and the student athletes and the families. And he's recognized here in the state and serves on the state board. And we're just very fortunate to have Larry Cochran leading the Washington Community Schools athletic program, and now he's being recognized at a national level. So really excited for Larry on that one. A couple of other more serious, just pertinent, I guess, items. Next regular board meeting will be next regular board meeting will be August 21st. We may need to go ahead and set a time for a special board meeting. I know with the late edition, we're fully staffed from a teaching standpoint, but I think we're gonna have a couple of ECA positions to fill going into the school year, and instructional aid positions, so it probably would be smart for us to set a time. I was looking at Monday, August 4th for that one.
Something you wanna do in the evening, or early morning, or?
What would work for the board?
What do you guys think?
I can do early morning or evening.
Wanna do evening and then do the executive session right after to continue?
Yeah. Yeah,
That way it's not as rushed.
that's fine.
Okay,
Yeah,
so maybe 7 o'clock, give everybody time maybe to get here. And the meeting itself shouldn't take very long, because it'll just be the few personnel items that we need approved to help get us started for the school year.
So the 4th at 7.
August 4th at 7, and then we'll have an executive session immediately following the public meeting. Let's see. The other one that I wanted to speak about is the September board meeting. After the June board meeting, and you guys approved me to go with some teachers to the Kids at Hope conference, I realized, well, that's gonna put me out of Indiana in September. So right now, the third Thursday in September is September 18th, and that's when I would be in Phoenix for Kids at Hope. So wanted to ask the board if we could go ahead and schedule and get that out in the public, that our September board meeting will be Thursday, September 25th.
I'll have any issues, I will send the host it.
Okay.
Same time, same place?
Yeah.
Anything
I think
else?
those are all the other items that I have at this point.
Alright. Does anyone else, any of the board members have anything they'd like to bring before the board? I think I would just like to make comment, I saw Mike actually left, but, he mentioned we're having bi-weekly meetings, with our design builder and a lot of exciting things are coming of that. And, really look forward to what we can, provide for our students and present to the community. Alright, if no one has anything else, I would entertain a motion to adjourn from Mr. Hedrick, second from Mr. McCormick. All in favor? 6-0. Meeting adjourned. Thank you.